Hey everyone, I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of the most awesome parts of the State of the Union and Bobby Jindal's response. I took lots of notes last night, so let's get started. Recovery.gov. I need to look into this website. I love that they're creating these websites that we can go to and actually find out some stuff. There's the $2,500 college credit. Nice job, I need to see if that works. A lot of the speech was dedicated to talking about how we need to extend loans. And honestly, I am petrified about this. I'm not petrified about loans actually being given, I'm petrified about getting them. I depend very heavily on student loans, and I haven't applied for mine for next year. The last time I applied, the stock market was still riding high, so I'm absolutely petrified. I really appreciated it when the Republicans stood up at the same time as the Democrats. For the first quarter of the speech, it would all be like, Democrats standing up, Democrats standing up, Democrats standing up. But then Obama just started hammering it home about unity and how these just universal things that everyone wants to be a part of. And Republicans started standing up too, and I really appreciated that. Divisiveness is not the answer to our problems right now. I loved this quote. While the cost of action may be great, the cost of inaction may be greater. One of those very powerful, very common sense things, but things that ring true. Also, some more keynotes were not about helping banks, helping people. And at this point, I started noticing everyone was holding these little blue programs, and I'm just dying to know what it said in there. They can't have been reading them out of pure boredom. Because, I mean, it was a good speech. They had to keep going on. Nancy Pelosi was giving googly eyes to Obama for half the time. I loved all the references to history, and I love how he's taking the mistakes and the advantages and everything that we've learned from history and applying it to now. That's the whole point of history. That's why there are historians, to learn from the past and learn what we've done right and what we've done wrong and bring it on to the next frontier. I appreciated that he acknowledged how China, Japan, Germany, Korea, they're all outperforming us on energy, and to have him admit that, it's not just, we're number one. It's rhetoric, just an actual intelligent thought, bringing up specific examples where we need to address these specific problems. I also love that he was asking Congress for legislation. That's ballsy. Saying, I want you to bring me a bill on market capping carbon and a few other things, saying that he wants this, and America wants these things too. It's just giving Congress their responsibility and showing them that he knows they make the laws, not trying to do them himself, which is a refreshing change. I loved, there was another quote about the auto industry where he was like, we invented the car, we cannot walk away from it. He had so many little quotes that I wrote down, and we don't do what's easy, we do what's necessary. It's another one of those, just, it rings true because there's strength in its simplicity. I thought it was very interesting that Republicans didn't stand for the bill that it gave health insurance to children whose parents were working full-time. Republicans did not stand for that, and I need to do some more research into that. Why don't you stand for giving kids health insurance? That's rotten. He wants to cure cancer? That's a big deal. You give a lot on education, which obviously captured my attention a lot, and emphasizing how important college was. And I love that. He's like, it's prerequisite to opportunity. You have to have a complete education, and acknowledging that high school does not mean a complete education. And it's so cool. You're quitting on your country was the buzzword. Fascinating. And he set the benchmark that by 2020 he wants us to have the highest graduation rate in the world again for college. And there were a bunch of numbers, of course, because technically this was a budget speech, saying how he wants to cut the deficit in half by the end of his first term, which is a great goal to have, and he said that he's already found $2 trillion that he can cut over a decade. It's interesting, he's planning all of his things over a decade, not just his term. And I think that having that kind of foresight is very important. The full cost of the Iraq War will finally be disclosed, and I think that's very, very important. Even McCain stood up when talking about bringing the war to a responsible end, and nice job, McCain, on that one. And then he started bringing out, like, the heavy guns, talking about raising veteran pay and how we need to uphold our values and live the America that we say that we are. And oh, it was so awesome. He was like, I can say this unequivocally, the United States does not torture. And for once, you could believe the president when he said that, because it was the truth. It wasn't some complete crap trying to sell to the media. The United States does not torture, with closing Guantanamo. And normally I hate it when they bring in the whole human interest stories, but these were fascinating this year. Well, the first one was, I loved Leonard Abbess. He's this bank executive that took a $60 million bonus. And at first I was like, oh God, another one of these. But he gave that $60 million to his employees and people that he had to fire. And that's the spirit of America. Yeah, he could have taken that $60 million and gone on a boat trip around the world, but he gave it to the people that needed it. And I thought that was just such a remarkable thing. And then, of course, there was the 8th grader that would send the letter to Congress with the whole "we are not quitters" line. That's a very good line. And, of course, the epic line, "we are equal to the task before us." And, oh, the ending line. If there's one thing I've learned in speech writing classes, it's you have to end with a boom. And he brought up the inscription in Congress that he wanted us to do something worthy to be remembered. And that's such a challenge and such a powerful sentiment. It was awesome. And I'm not going to say that much about Bobby Jindal's response. Number one, because there isn't that much to respond to. That doesn't include me yelling obscenities. But for most of it, he was pimping himself out. It was such a self-promoting speech, it was disgusting. It was like, hey, I'm the Republicans' next great hope. Oh, I'm Sarah Palin without the stupid. And just him talking about these inane points where it was an infomercial for himself. Everyone's been talking about it, how he brought up the government response to Katrina, saying you can't have faith in the government because the government failed. Number one, you look who was in charge of the government at that time. Number two, for God's sakes, it was a mistake, but you can't judge all of government on a mistake that was made by you guys when you were in charge. I was speechless. I was so angry when he started bringing this up. Yeah, bureaucracy isn't a great thing, but you know what? Until they invent something better, it's not just shove it out the window. You need to give it a chance and you need to fix it. Bobby Jindal was just sending the wrong message entirely. Did he even I know he had to write the speech before Obama, but you know what? They should have brought someone who could have spoken extemporaneously and actually responded to the points he was making. This was not a response. This was a 15-minute infomercial for Bobby Jindal being a butthead, because I can't say stronger language on YouTube. And, oh, I was so mad. He was talking about how it's such a waste of money to promote volcano monitoring. Well, maybe if you're in Louisiana, but for those of us who live in places where we are threatened by volcanoes, I beg to differ. People in Hawaii and basically everyone who could be that lives anywhere near in the Rockies, that is a massive caldera. You don't understand because you haven't studied it, Bobby Jindal. That's going to blow, and when that goes, that will rip the United States in half. So yeah, I kind of want to know when that's going to happen so I can be kind of out of the way. I hate Bobby Jindal. I did not think there was someone I could hate more than Sarah Palin. Gold star Bobby Jindal. Obama's speech rocked, and I'm just going to try and keep thinking of that.